because we get to start with the big green lady.
Yes. Yesterday's episode, as you're listening to this, or today for us.
Yeah. She-Hulk episode 6. A certified fucking banger. I don't want to hear it. I understand like people like different things. If you didn't like this week's episode, you're an L human being. L plus ratio. This week's episode was so fucking good.
Well, it's like, let's be honest. If you're mad at this episode, you're just mad because you got called out in the first 5 seconds of the episode.
Yeah.
You're literally who they called you out, and you're just mad that you got called out by a show. So you just need to lighten up.
So this week, sorry, let's just give a bit of context there.
Yeah.
For this week's episodes, there are lots of notes that I've written so I can keep some kind of coherent thoughts in my head. Some of them are going to sound really funny and really ridiculous potentially because they're literally, I live typed them as I was watching the show. So it's probably a lot of spelling mistakes as well, Hori, just so you're aware.
I'm not going to notice because I'm terrible at spelling.
This is what I wrote down for She-Hulk, although this was done retroactively and not while watching She-Hulk.
Oh.
A story, wedding, funny, enjoyable, furthers arc of Jen learning to love She-Hulk. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
We go to the wedding. She turns up in this dress that the designer made for her that fits her as Jen and as She-Hulk. She feels cool, confident, sexy. Everyone's excited to see her. They're like, oh my god, you look amazing. And then the bride is like, hey, yo, bro, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, we all saw that coming, let's be honest.
Yeah, we did.
It's like she rocks up as She-Hulk, you think, this is, you're just the bride's not gonna be happy.
Yeah. It turns out while the rule used to be don't wear white to someone else's wedding, you apparently also cannot wear green.
Oh my god.
Just as an FYI, I didn't realise that was a thing. Apparently it is.
Terrible person.
You loved it. And through that arc, I think we get some really fun moments, especially with Titania rocking up.
Yeah. Happens to be a friend of the groom.
Well, I mean, happens to be dating someone who's friends of the groom.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's be honest, they deliberately made. I mean, put it this way: the guy wouldn't have looked out of place on this podcast. A little bit nerdy, a little bit quirky, not traditionally handsome.
Definitely was approached by her, and he said, "Can I have a +1?" And everyone's gone, "You need a +1? Sure."
Yeah. I now have a new favourite, Josh. It was previously Crumb Caesar. Now it is a gentleman from the wedding. If he turns out to be evil in any way, I will be very upset.
I get the sense that he won't be.
Won't be evil or won't be seen again?
Oh, won't be evil. I think we'll see him again. I feel like they set him up in a way that we will see him again.
100%. And then I've written down, B story with Mr. Immortal is cool as fuck, but they did Mr. Immortal very differently.
Okay, so this is the thing. I didn't know if Mr. Immortal was like a big name character or if it was like a little side thing and it wasn't like a huge deal held. Like it was more like one of those fun cameos of a smaller character.
I would say anyone who's like read a fair few comics and is into that world, so like follow like the pages that talk about obscure comic facts, will definitely have heard of Mr. Immortal.
Okay.
But he's definitely not so big that lots of people are going to notice the changes they made to the character.
Right, okay.
So, Mr. Immortal is obviously dealing with a divorce problem. I.e., he's been faking his death instead of divorcing people because he can't actually die. And now they've all caught him. Very funny, very good. I enjoyed it. I get why they did it.
Yeah.
The difference is, Mr. Immortal's a very happy-go-lucky guy in this.
Yeah.
In the comics, he's clinically depressed.
Always?
And also,
or...
yes.
Okay.
So he kind of got his powers, had the standard kind of, oh, it's cool having superpowers, and then he realised, oh, I can never even remotely relate to another human being because I'm going to live forever, ever, no matter what.
Right.
And just became very depressed at the entire notion of death is a part of living, and therefore, because I can't die, I can't really live.
Yeah.
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 It's actually like a very well written criticism of the idea that living forever is a good thing. But what they also did was they kind of made it so that Mr. Immortal just kills himself at any inconvenience.
Well, any confrontation.
Yeah.
Can't say the word.
Mr. Immortal actively avoids trying to die while fighting crime because it really fucking hurts still.
Well, yeah, it
So,
didn't look.
like,
It did look like it hurt, but
yeah, like, so if he gets, like, shot, because he has no other superpowers, he's not super strong or anything like that. So
yeah,
just imagine you, but you just, if you die, you come back to life.
yeah,
So, like, if someone, like, stabs the fuck out of you, you have to be there and lie there and bleed out and feel all that pain and fully die before being resurrected.
mm-hmm.
So, like, getting hit by a car, like one of his partners said, would be a bit weird because he's gonna like feel that a lot.
Yeah. I think looking at it, like when he does the bit where he jumps out the window because they're arguing, and he's just like, "Peace out,
Yeah,
I'm gone." You can see like he's when he obviously comes back. You can see him like straining his like his arms are popping back into their sockets and stuff, and like you can see that like cracking and stuff, and him put his body regenerating in a sense. Like there was obviously they showed some pain there, but yeah, it does. And if that in the comics, he's like always in agony and avoids it. They're definitely downplaying it a bit. I wonder if it's more.
I mean, the style of character he is in the comics wouldn't work in a comedy.
No,
So don't get me wrong, I don't hate the changes. It was just weird to me when I heard Mr. Immortal and what I know of him to see him done in this way. I was a bit like, oh, that's different.
I wonder if like you
I
said.
don't hate it though.
You said in the comics, like when he first gets his powers, he's quite like, "Oh yeah, this is cool," but then gets depressed. I wonder if they're trying to play it off as like this is him.
Yeah, but
Still
we know
kind of
he's
play.
like had his powers for a while at
Well,
this
yeah,
point. He's
but
been married 8 times.
yeah, but you can get married 8 times very quickly.
Do you know what I did enjoy?
Go on.
And this is gonna rub people up the wrong way. The fact that there was one guy there, as in
Yes.
as going through all these marriages, he's like, I've got to try it once, right?
Yeah.
And I am a genuine believer. If you live forever, you will eventually try everything.
Yeah.
I genuinely say you're like already 400 years old, for instance. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're like, you know what? I kind of have to fuck a guy and just know.
Yeah. No.
Don't ya? You would.
Yeah. That like.
Don't get me wrong. Some people would get there maybe after 60 or 70 years. Some people might literally the second they find out, they're like, well, I better start doing everything.
Maybe. Yeah. I wonder if they're trying to.
Cool. It was a really cool, just little nod to a quite a like maybe cult character would be the right way to describe him.
Yeah, it's one of those like a nod to the comic book fans that will recognize him more than like just casual. Yeah. I enjoyed the whole I forget the 2 female lawyer names.
Monroe and Nikki.
Yes, I really enjoyed their like. Nikki was trying to be
judging of him.
Well, Monroe, being a lawyer, was judging him, but could keep it professional, and was like, "Okay, I will." Like most lawyers, probably like, "I'll help." Like, I'll do the job, but it doesn't mean I can't judge you, sort of thing. Whereas Nikki's like still the paralegal, like, I'm gonna chat shit back to you. And then 100%. The way that she ended up dealing with the whole
sitting on the table with her legs crossed, getting them all what they wanted, yeah.
And they're all like loving it, and then the one woman where she's like, "Oh, and you'll get an apology and 15 seconds of eye contact," and that woman's like, "That's all I want."
I really enjoy the fact that he tried to, like, afterwards, he said to Nikki, he was like, is 15 seconds really, like, is that the best you can do? She's like, you're having 20.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah.
no, fuck you. Make
Yeah.
eye contact with this woman and say,
For that comment, you now get punished worse.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But then Monroe and, like, you could see there was kind of that, although this is not conventional, she was kind of approving of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's probably paying out less money this way because people are getting more specifically what they want.
Yeah. And the lawyers still get paid the same, so.
Exactly. The main story slash arc of someone trying to steal She-Hulk's blood is very interesting to me. And there's one thing I picked up on that I'm not sure if you will have picked up on.
Okay.
So obviously at the very end, we see like people like in a lab getting ready to try and steal her blood again.
Yeah.
And there's a message that pops up from Hulk King.
Yep.
If you say that, it kind of sounds like Hulkling.
Yeah, or hulking. Like hulking up.
I was thinking more Hulkling because Hulkling's a character.
Well, yeah, okay.
And it like if you just say it, that's
Yeah.
kind of how it sounds.
Yeah.
Which people were rumoring would appear in this.
Yeah. Wasn't that name also the same one that was on that Reddit looking forum website?
Potentially.
I'm sure there was like that icon matched up as someone who was like posting stuff about She-Hulk on there. And I'm sorry, but they called it Invictus or whatever the heck it was called.
Yeah.
That was just Reddit.
Yeah. And do you want to know the second I realised it was going to be Reddit? When she went, you know, the one with loads of men who hate women. And I was like, so Twitter is safe this week. They're going for Reddit.
Do you know what? Yeah, I was like, oh, they're just now making out Reddit. Like, that's Reddit. Everyone can tell that's Reddit. And it's a toxic website, which is what Reddit is.
Yeah, exactly. Really made me laugh. I'm enjoying their lack of fear of social media during this show. So, like, the people we're making angry aren't the people who were going to be happy anyway. So we can make jokes at them. It's not a problem. It's always the same.
It's like the whole like leaning. They know it's coming, and it's like them leaning into it in the episodes and taking the piss out of it. Basically, just takes away any like power or like weight that they were these like haters are gonna have, because it's already been called out and pulled away from them. So they're just like, they're shutting them down before they've even had a chance to say anything, and it's great.
Exactly.
The whole thing with the dog as well at the wedding.
Yeah. That's very, very good.
That stuff.
One thing that I am very, very curious about, and maybe this is just me looking into things. Monroe.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about her husband and kid.
Mm-hmm.
That Nikki kind of asks more questions about, and she's like, enough.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a feeling that is going to become important.
Yeah, there's obviously a reason she's keeping, and like this is probably also a slightly common lawyer thing to do, is like you keep your family and personal life pretty private, so that nothing ever, like, depending on clients you deal with, like nothing ever kind of crosses over, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's very defensive about keeping that stuff close to her chest, which means it feels like there's something being hidden there.
I would not be surprised if her husband ends up being involved in the trying to get Jen's powers or blood sample.
Maybe.
That is my expectation.
Note there's also like obviously they had the broken needle that they attempted with, and they were making like that new syringe with a freaking industrial level syringe on the end of it to obviously in hopes that that's going to pierce. I wonder if that's made out of something. Like, is there any material we know that can pierce Hulk's skin? Can adamantium? I can't remember if we went over this with the Superhero Showdown. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to remember.
I feel like adamantium can hurt Hulk's skin.
So I wonder if it's made like if they're trying something made out of that or not.
What I will say is earlier in the show, she said nothing on Earth,
hmm,
and adamantium is a vibranium-based alloy.
yeah,
So they might be doing it differently in this, but that could be something to do with Bruce's story.
yeah, maybe.
We've also had another little nod to Bruce's story, whatever it is, with her trying to call Bruce
Yeah,
and not
drunk,
getting through.
drunk calling him.
Yeah. Which is a little bit of a nod to the fact of, hey, don't forget Bruce has disappeared off world.
Yeah, she's like, you've not answered me for like a few days, weeks, so it's been a month.
Yeah.
She's too drunk to remember, but like also making out a point of like, wait, how long has he been gone?
Exactly.
And she's not heard of him. Um so yeah, like that whole thing where he was in this and then he cut out as they fucking space jumped. She's obviously not heard from him since then, so
Yeah.
he's too busy.
Doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Oh, I saw one theory about that.
Oh, go
Which is they've come looking for Hulk because Sakaar has been attacked or destroyed.
on. Okay.
Uh, because and the theory was, what if it's Hercules looking for Thor, and one of the last places Thor spent a good chunk of time was on Sakaar, and was like the whole fighting thing. Like he'll have been like feel like say like on the internet, like there would be proof that he was there, and on like a trail is going to lead someone there if they're looking for places where Thor's been. So it's like one theory is it's obviously probably a bit more of a stretch theory, but it's like what if Hercules has been there and done stuff, and Hulk's going back?
I still lean more heavily on it's building up to a World War Hulk or Planet Hulk film.
Most likely.
But it'll be interesting to see exactly how they do it, which is the interesting one. But I mean, I'm a little bit sad there was no post-credit scene.
Yeah, and also a bit sad that we didn't get to see our friend that we're waiting.
Yeah. That's been, I think, sadly, because this is a really good episode, that's been the biggest talking point on Twitter. The fact that everyone assumed, myself included, that we were finally going to get Daredevil this week. What I will say is, I've got a feeling that we are going to see Daredevil in each of the last 3 episodes now.
Possibly, yeah.
I think he's going to end up helping her resolve whatever kicks off in the next episode, and is going to be the arc for the last 3.
Do you know what I feel they should have done then? If they obviously were never going to show him this week, I think they should have kept the mask teaser as like a post-credit scene this week, or like they could have done it as a post-credit scene of Jen ringing up the designer and being like, "Oh, the dress was great," or whatnot, blah blah blah. Thank you.
Oh, I've got it.
And then they pan behind him on the phone and they show it in the box.
Even better. You ready? This is how they should have done it.
Okay.
So, last week we obviously see her, or we assume she's given a super suit.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the episode, when so-and-so asked to see it, Nikki asked to see it, she, instead of saying, "No, I'm not taking it," she goes, "I gave it back to him because I was never going to wear it."
Right.
Then, because of the events of the wedding,
she rings him up again.
She goes, "Okay, maybe it would be worth having a suit." So she goes to see him to collect it, or she calls him up about it, and then we get the panning shot of it in the background.
Yeah, I feel like they could have used as a post-credit scene.
It's just a bit of fun, isn't it, about making people wait a little bit longer. They know Daredevil fans are going to keep tuning in just in case their horny boy turns up.
Well, yeah, one of my friends is more interested in the show because he saw Daredevil was going to be like he's enjoying the show, but like that's what first.
No, but here's the thing. I think that was part of their plan. They were like, okay, we'll use Daredevil to get people to watch it because they'll watch it just in case, and then we back our show being good enough to make them want to stay.
Yeah. The thing is the funny thing is with my one of my friends, he's done a law degree, so he's like, yeah, the show's all right, because he's like, there's a lot of the law stuff that just wouldn't stand up in court, because and that kind of breaks it for him.
Yeah,
which I was
as is any law show ever. They're like I've seen like, I'm saying like a lot this week. I'm so sorry.
like,
I've seen like I'm really aware of it now. So there is a series on YouTube of getting professionals to watch shows based around their professions.
Yeah.
So one of the really common ones is a doctor watches like Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that. One I've seen is a lawyer reacting to Suits.
Yeah.
And he watches one of the scenes and he's just like, they are breaking so many laws right here.
Yeah, I think I've seen that sort of thing because I love Suits. But yeah, it'd be funny if it wouldn't surprise me if that same channel now does cover She-Hulk at some point.
It would probably be worth them having a crack at.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that about wraps up She-Hulk episode 6 for us.
Yeah, I think it was a good episode. I know everyone's waiting for Daredevil, but I think it helped progress the whole Jen wanting to be She-Hulk and being like this one whole person.
I think what they've done is broken the 9 episodes down into 3 stages.
Yeah.
Episodes 1, 2, and 3 were her hating She-Hulk.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6 was growing of acceptance.
Yeah.
And 7, 8, 9 are going to be
her leaning into it.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. I'm She-Hulk now. I get to help people using the law, and I get to help people as She-Hulk, and this is going to be great.
And I found me a guy called Josh who likes me in both.
Hey, Josh was a cutie pie. I don't know what they're giving the Joshes, but the crazy thing is I know that Crumb season is like a million years behind on this because he's not watched anything. So he might catch up to this in like a year's time and be like, oh, you could be cute.
Wild that you think he'll catch up, but...
Oh, yeah, he'll absolutely never catch up, but I can dream.
Yeah, you can.
But
yeah,